Welcome back to Mullet Man Racing. Today we got our new manual rack and pinion, and today I got this kit from Smith RaceCrafts. Really great kit, I think. It's all pretty much bolt-in. You do got to cut and drill some holes in the chassis, but that's no big deal. They give you really good instructions for everything. So we're gonna start working on putting this piece in first, because this is the piece we got to cut out of the chassis, and then actually these bolts right here, where the lower control arm bolts go, this is gonna bolt right up through there. So we'll take care of that first, and then from there we'll start drilling our holes. We got templates right here, and got some more templates right here too. So we got these, and then we'll start drilling our hole, set our rack in, and then we also got steering arms here. These things are sweet, they're all billet. And we got a bump steer kit on here, so that's really gonna help a ton. Because it's, a leaf spring car is still gonna do a wheelie, I think. And I know a lot of people say wheelies slow you down, and I agree to that to a certain extent. I think if you're putting it on the bumper, yeah, of course you're gonna go slow because all that air is getting underneath the car. But if you can get like a little 1 or 2 foot wheelie, in my opinion, if I see that in a car, I'm like, that thing's moving. So I don't want to do crazy, put it on the bumper wheelies, but I would like to at least carry the wheels a little bit. That way, it's just lets me know that it's going, and honestly, I think it's badass. There's nothing better than that when you see a car do that, no matter what it is. If it does a little 1-2 foot power wheeling, carries it out past 60 foot, I mean, that thing's moving, in my opinion. So those bump steers will help a ton. Pretty much it just takes the front tires. So on a stock one, when you do a wheelie, they actually go like this, the front tires, and then when it comes back down, it straightens all out. And you can see the front tires, when they come back down and hit the ground, they do a bunch of this, and it actually scrubs a little bit of speed off. Not much, but I mean, every little bit counts. So that right there is gonna help when the car does a wheelie, the tires are gonna come straight up and straight down. They're not gonna bow in or do any kind of funny stuff. So that's really cool. And so yeah, we're gonna get to cutting and putting this thing in. And what I'll do is I'll drop a link in the description for this whole kit. They do sell this individually, so they sell this individually, this piece. I know they sell the steering arms and the bump steer separate, or by themselves. I don't think they sell this piece by itself. I think this you have to get with the kit, and the kit was like $1,000. So I mean, you just can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. And it's a little steep, but it's all easy. It's all bolt-in. It should only take a couple hours to do it, knock on wood. But we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so I'll put that link in the description. And if you guys have a Nova and you're looking to put a manual rack and pinion in that thing in your car, look at these guys, see what they got going on. They make some really cool stuff. Actually, my upper and lower control arms are from them. They make really good stuff. But I paid for all this stuff on my own. So I am really excited to see this thing in there. And also, what's pretty cool about this piece too is they do put like tow hook strap loops in here. So when you're tying your car down, or say something, worst case scenario, something happens, you can hook a tow strap in there and tow the car back, or tie the car down to the trailer. So that's pretty cool. You'll see that I actually welded in a U-loop pretty much in the front of the car, so I could strap the front of the car down. So that right there gets rid of that big ugly U in the front. So that's another cool little feature that this has. But as you see, it'll mount in where the lower control arm bolts go, and then these brackets here, rack just sits there and it's good to go. So we're gonna start putting it in and see how it turns out. So stay tuned. All right, so as you can see, we had to pull the springs and the shocks out and remove the lower control arms from the spindles here, just to get these bolts in and out right here, because I pulled them out with everything connected and it was a pain in the ass. There's no way. And the car it's light, like I can pick the whole front end up right now. So I couldn't even use a jack stand to like move it around or do anything. So it's like, just pull the springs and the shocks and drop the lower control arms and be able to move it around. But as you can see, we marked it here. So we took this template here. Let's see if I can get it the right way here, like that. So basically, I just took the bolt, put it through, tightened it up to where I can maybe still move it around a little bit. You set that there, took my little level here, and then just set it up like that. Make sure it's level. Marked it on that side too there. So now that we got it marked, we'll just cut it right there on the back side, and then we'll cut it back here, and we'll pull that whole piece out and then bolt in the new piece. And we're gonna have to drill this all out right here, I think. Oops, sorry. Drill that out right there, because it's pretty much gonna mount right here. There's a little mount that mounts in those two holes right there. Come down, and I think we're gonna have to drill a hole in this back side too here. It'll come down through, the rack will mount up in this, and then we'll go from there. I did have to call Smith RaceCraft today, because there's a good gap right there, because on the back side of this spindle in here, there's a little like hump on the back side right here. I don't know if we can see that or not, but there's a little hump right there. And these steering arms are just barely hitting those. So they pretty much said just get like 1/8 or 1/4 inch washers, thick washers, stack them up there. Don't even need a clearance of spindle, just put washers in there, it'll be good enough. So we'll find some washers for those guys, but right now I want to focus on cutting this out and then putting that piece in here. We'll throw the bolts in it for the last time, and then we'll focus on start drilling out the holes and get this all routed up. So we'll see how it comes along. getting somewhere now. So we got the cross member in, got this all bolted up. This side was a little bit of a pain in the butt because I cut it at a little bit of an angle. So I just had to grind that down a little bit more. But it's in there now, everything's good. I got this template all mocked up here, and I fastened that down tight to where it's not gonna move, and then I just kind of trace it out, and I think I'm gonna drill the holes with the hole saw bit with that template on there, just to keep it in the center, or keep it in that template. I don't want it walking. I will hit it with a punch and get it set with a punch, but I just wanted to make sure. So, and we're gonna clean this dude up here a little bit, but that's all later. I do wanna get everything set in place, and then I'm gonna take everything back out and paint it, because as you can see, we had to grind all this up here, along there, and over there too. It's not really the best cut, but we can kind of clean that up a little bit. Anyways, I wanna paint all that because I don't want it rusting. I'm actually gonna paint this whole thing because you can see where the front radiator mount is. That didn't get painted on both sides, so it's a little rusty, so we'll clean that all up. We'll clean up a lot of stuff. I'm not really worried about that right now because we got a lot of different things coming with. We got to grind the paint down for the motor plates to weld those tabs in and all that stuff too. So not really worried about that right now. I just want to get everything set in place, make sure everything works good. I will have to cut this old steering U-joint off here, and I'll have to get another one. And I don't know if I'm going to use that same steering shaft or I'm going to get a different one, because they make ones that you can mount in this location. As you can see, I made a custom little bracket with spacers to lower it down and all that stuff. So that, anyways, I think Motion Racework makes a bracket that they weld on the steering column actually that mounts in that location. So I don't know if I want to do that or cut that out all the way to, let's see if we can get in here. So as you can see, there's the brake light switch right there. So I might cut this back a little bit and then just take like 2 small tubular bars and weld it up here, and then weld it to a new steering column. But we'll see what we end up doing. Not really sure yet. So, but in the meantime, I just want to get this all mocked up right now and get those holes drilled, and we are gonna have to drill one back here. So we'll drill those, and then we'll start, we can set the rack in there and start kind of connecting everything up, and then we'll just have to wait till we get to that steering U-joint on the steering column. So we'll see how this thing turns out. Hopefully I can drill those holes somewhat nice, so hopefully it comes out clean. So we finally got this thing mounted in. I think where I left off is where I was drilling this hole right here for the linkage. We got that in there, got the rack in here. I don't have it all tightened up yet. We just kind of have it set in place right now. And I did drill this hole here in the back. So I drilled that hole there, and then we'll connect it there eventually. But as you can see, it's like straight in line where it needs to be. And you know, honestly, this install was pretty legit. Like they made it pretty easy. I have to admit, it wasn't that bad at all. I mean, it's a little scary cutting this out because if you mess it up, you're kind of screwed. So just take your time with it and make sure you get it right. I mean, like on this side, I cut this side a little crooked, but that's okay. You just take a sanding wheel or a grinding wheel, and you just, you know, take a little material away at a time, and it'll fit right in there. But all in all, this is honestly a legit setup for a rack and pinion in a 70 or 6874 Nova. The only thing I do have to do is I gotta put spacers between the spindle and the steering arm on either side. I still have to do that. I'm not really worried about that. I'm not ready just yet, or not ready to put it on the ground just yet. But before we put it on the ground, I will do that, tighten everything up. I don't know if I'm gonna put the springs back in. I know I'll probably end up putting the shocks back in because I am gonna be getting away from the spring style control arms. I would like a coilover mount in this, and I can't remember the name of the company who is planning on making it or already has one made for a different style of GM car. But anyways, you cut this shock mount out here, and it bolts in here and here where the control arm is, and then it has a little bracket coming off to where you can put a bolt through the eye of the shock or the coilover, and then the lower control arms have a place where you can put a bolt through the eye of the coilover on the bottom, rather than having a nut and a rubber washer right there hold that in. It's probably better to have it mounted strong with like a grade 8 bolt. I know we're not gonna be doing no crazy wheelies or anything, but you know, if you can make something stronger, why not? So, but that is it for the rack and pinion install. I think it turned out great. I'm not really worried about getting everything painted up right now because we still have a bunch of stuff we got to mock up. And what I think I'm gonna do is when this car comes back from getting all the upgrades at the chassis shop, I'll probably end up taking everything apart again, painting everything, cleaning everything up, and then final assembly, put everything back together and get everything going as far as chassis stuff. So that's the plan so far with this. I think this up here is pretty much done except for the motor plates and obviously connecting over there to the steering column. We did get this badass Cameron Johnson race car wing in today, and I am super excited to mount this thing. This thing is badass. I mean, as you can see, it's just the bend angles on this thing are just phenomenal. I mean, it just looks so sick. And I think it's gonna make the back of this car look just great. I mean, in my opinion, I've always thought that the back of these cars was always a little short, and I think this is an 18-inch wing. So this thing is it's gonna add, I think, a good amount of length to the back of this car and just make it all look complete. I think it's gonna be freaking badass, and I can't wait to put it on. So stay tuned for that video. We'll have that video up shortly. I'm going to work on mounting this thing to the deck lid with Clecos, and then getting the struts all mounted on the bottom, or sorry, from the underneath the wing to the rear bumper. And I think that'll be it. I mean, I'll Cleco it in, and then when we're ready, I'll probably just end up throwing a couple screws in it for now, because when I do get this car all done and I get the color changed on it, I'll probably have the wing the same color as the car, just to make it look all complete. So, and what's cool is they put a protective little, I think it's like a wrap or some kind of protective thing, so the sheet metal doesn't get all scratched up. It doesn't have it on the bottom, but that's okay. It's underneath, but it has it on the top that you see. So that's nice that they put that there, so it doesn't get all dinged and scratched up and all that stuff. So, yeah, I am super excited for this. I cannot wait to see what this looks like on the car. So, stay tuned for that video. Hopefully we'll have that up here in a few days. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with your family and friends. If you guys like seeing race cars being built, or I should say a race car being built, share it with your friends. And if somebody else you know has a Nova and they're looking to do upgrades to it and they've always wondered about some of these parts, let them know. Let them know that this stuff is well worth it, and it's totally doable to do it in a garage, at least to a certain extent. So, all right, guys, take it easy.